Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be a better person after watching this video. Entitled mother steals my seat and pretends not to understand me or ignores me so that she can sit with her kid on a 20-minute flight. This setting, an inter-island flight on Hawaiian Airlines. The players are me, my husband, entitled mum, and our quiet kid. We're boarding for a very short flight. I get to my row and see the entitled mother is sitting in my assigned seat, next to her son, who's about 10 years old and not saying a word. I told her, "I think you're in my seat." She barely even looks at me. "Ma'am, I think you're in my seat." She pulls out a ticket, the son's ticket, to show me that her son is sitting in his assigned seat. I told her I can see that the kid is in his assigned seat, but she is not, because she's in my seat. I asked her again which seat is hers, thinking actually I would just go ahead and sit in her seat so she can sit with her kid, because even though she's going about this entirely the wrong way, it's a really short flight and not worth the effort. Over the next minute or two, she refuses to tell me where her ticketed seat is. She keeps pointing over and over to her son's ticket, showing that he's sitting in his seat. I'm starting to lose my patience by now, because there's a long line of people backing up trying to board and we're causing a problem for everyone. I finally said to her, "I cannot let you sit there without you at least telling me where your seat is, because if you don't tell me, now you're forcing me to steal somebody else's seat. I'm willing to switch with you, but you have to tell me where your actual seat is so that I know which seat I should sit in." No response, just staring straight ahead. Finally, a flight attendant came over and asked to see her ticket. Amazingly, now she responds and takes out her ticket and shows the flight attendant. The flight attendant looks at me somewhat inquirely, as if to ask me if I'm willing to switch. I said, "Honestly, I had every intention of letting her switch so she could sit next to him, but I'm not really feeling like I want to do that after she ignored me and lied to me." So she gets booted from her seat and I reclaimed it. Lest I come off as completely unsympathetic here, I did help the kid buckle his seatbelt after I noticed he didn't know how, and the flight attendant didn't catch it. I'm not sure what was going on with this flight, but a lot of things seemed to be going unnoticed. I felt bad for him because he seemed very unnerved by the whole thing and the confrontation, but he's probably going to get used to that pretty quickly having such an entitled mum. Geez, I was waiting for there to be some reveal that the mother was potentially deaf or something and that's why she didn't respond, but then the flight attendant came over. I always want to give these people the benefit of the doubt, but then I remember what subreddit I'm in. Entitled mother accuses me of purposely ruining her child's educational career. I taught kindergarten many moons ago. One particular average student, who every once in a while had a behavioural issue, had a challenging mother. Every once in a while entitled mother would question, with a condescending look, why I was teaching something. It was the mandated curriculum in our city? Overall, not really horrible stuff I couldn't handle, until the moving up ceremony day. Now this particular student was late almost every day. They had to be in school at 8:20 AM. I gave the kids the benefit of the doubt that if they entered the school on time, it might take them 10 minutes to get to my classroom. If they were late downstairs, they were given a late pass. I kept all late passes in a file. Each time the child came in late, past 8:30 AM, and or had a late pass, I marked her late. I did the same for every child in my class. On the day we were having the moving up ceremony, kids tend to leave school for the day right after the ceremony. I handed out the final report card with the total number of days late and absent for the year. Each other report card only had the amount for that quarter, so it shouldn't have been a surprise either. I was in my classroom changing and getting ready to go out for lunch when entitled mother called me. She was upset about the number of latenesses, over 125 days. We only have 181 days of school in a school year. She started yelling at me that I was wrong. I told her that according to my records, those were the number of absences and I had spoken to her about it at past parent-teacher conferences. Then she says, "You're putting my child's educational future at risk because you have marked her late." I bit my lip. I don't remember how I was able to politely get her off the phone, but we end the conversation. I shrug it off. A few minutes later, I get another call. This call is from some man claiming to be the family's caseworker checking up on that student's year-end progress. I was not aware that the family had a caseworker, let alone an open case with Children's Services. We are typically told. I politely told the man that I could not speak to him about my student because I couldn't confirm his identity. He would have to call the office. He was not happy. I had a bad feeling about that call and that it might be a setup. I later took my teaching assistant out for a traditional end-of-year lunch. As we were on our way, we see the entitled mother. She confronts me again. My assistant stood by my side to protect me. My assistant didn't trust the entitled mother's physical stance and felt that it shouldn't be a private conversation. I finally tell entitled mother that she can go in and speak to administration if she feels what I did was wrong. Later, as I'm back in my classroom starting to clean and pack away things for the summer, my assistant principal comes in to ask me about the latenesses. Entitled Mother is downstairs in the office complaining about me. I told her how I came to that particular number. I even gave her the pile of late passes. She leaves and I continue to clean up. Once again, my assistant principal comes back up to my room with a huge smile. Apparently I had miscounted the number of latenesses. They reviewed the late passes and the late book, and I was off by 3 latenesses. They added the extra 3 days I missed to her final report card. The next year I looped up to first grade. We always reconfigured the classes each year so kids wouldn't stay together year after year. So about half of my kindergarten class would have me for their teacher again. We had already set the classes up for first grade, but due to Entitled Mother's confrontation outside of school and my assistant being a witness, I asked that the student not be in my class for first grade. Administration agreed. That September, Entitled Mother showed up in the office, after dismissal on the first day, demanding to know why her daughter wasn't in my class. I'm very glad the admin backed me up again, and sadly, over the years I watched that typical kid with some behaviour issues turn into a giant entitled kid with massive behaviour problems, consistently late. I think with entitled parents, the kids will go either way. Either they'll see their parents acting out and replicate it, or decide that's not who they want to be. Unfortunately for this kid, it seems to be going in the wrong direction, but there's always time to change. A fun-filled weekend with my entitled sister, EM. Girl, the weekend I've just had would make Mother Teresa lose her composure. Some backstory. My older sister is 27. She currently lives with my parents and has saved nothing to get a place of her own. In fact, she's gone on holiday twice this year and is going to Dubai next month. She has a 2-year-old daughter, who I love to pieces. She knows this, which is why she uses her daughter to get away with her demanding personality. I, 23 female, have just gotten married and come back off my honeymoon last week. We go to see my parents, and the moment my sister walks in, I'm straight up ignored the whole time, until I took out a present for my mum. I got her some nice chocolates because she'd been asking me how the honeymoon is going, and I thought it would be nice to get her some of my favourite Parisian chocolates, not by any stretch cheap. I hand it to her, and the moment I do, it's snatched out of her hands by my sister, who I will now call ES. Entitled sister starts whining about why I didn't get her anything, which you had just been ignoring me a second ago. Entitled sister then starts feeding them to my niece, which I don't mind, but they were expensive and meant for my mum. Things die down, and we get to Saturday. Me and my husband thought it would be nice to take her out to mini golf, since we rarely take her out. So we told her dad, GD, good dad, that we would be gone with her as a surprise, to let entitled sister take a break while she's gone. We go and have a blast. My niece beat my husband, and let her go on some rides and come back. She was furious, not because we had taken her without knowing, but because we took her somewhere fun without taking entitled sister so that she could play and let my husband pay for it all. Naturally, I'm very upset and argue that we only wanted my niece to have fun, but this didn't matter anymore because now she needs our help picking up a new bed, which my mum would pay for, and set it up. Hubby doesn't like the idea, but agrees nonetheless, as long as we're gone by 12. She agrees, and I help put my niece to bed. Not a single thanks was given for any of that. Here we go to Sunday. I wake up immediately to the sound of my sister banging on the door, begging me to watch my niece and move furniture around. Okay. It gets to a point where I need to get ready to go home, and I haven't even showered yet. I look like all stages of hell. Naturally, I wasn't done being a personal maid for the day until hubby came home with the bed. I sighed my reliefs off and asked if someone can watch her while I shower, because apparently her mum can't. I shower and pack, but not before putting her bed together and moving it all to suit entitled sister's liking. Good dad thanked us profusely, and entitled sister doesn't even look at us. Really? After all that? Really? No thanks at all? Nope. She just said that we need a bigger mattress for the bed and never really said goodbye as we walked out. So now both of us are annoyed at the amount of entitlement that we both have had to experience, but relieved now that we're home after all of that. It sounds boring compared to some, but this is a typical weekend with her. Everyone just enables her behaviour, and since I don't live there anymore, I get no say in the matter. There's a reason I go less than once a month. Sad as it is. Stepmom wears white to the wedding. TLDR, stepmother wears white to a wedding. Bride tells her she's rude. So I was at a wedding today, and that was a mess from the word go. The bride was beautiful, it was hot as hell, and yet she still shone. Her groom was 35 minutes late to the wedding venue, but she didn't let that bother her. Their kids, they were married before to each other, kept talking and walking around. Once the 3-year-old almost toppled into the pond. The bride was graceful and all smiles. It was mentioned that this was an unplugged wedding, but her dad and his mum both stood up and took photos interrupting the ceremony. The bride laughed and carried on. It appeared it was going to be a perfect day, but then she saw her stepmom. The 70-something lady was wearing a white gown. Who does that? Seriously? I was appalled by it, and I even text messaged my husband, who wasn't there, beforehand to tell him. The bride refused, understandably, to talk to the lady. She, the entitled mother, made a huge deal that my daughter won't talk to me today, and it breaks my heart. The bride was epic though. She finally looked at the 70-plus baby and said, "My 3-year-old knows that you don't make scenes like that in public without repercussions." The entitled mother acted shocked and said, "Well, I don't know what you mean." The beautiful bride just said, "You know full well that you don't wear white to a wedding, so sit down, shut up and have fun, or leave." I was impressed. Not as climactic as some, but it was amazing in person. Okay, so that's all for r/entitled parents. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!